All right. Then we had 3 other guys that fell into the teens for this list that you wanted to make sure we made note of. Coming in at number 13 on this list, we have Canadian Tanner Howe of the Regina Pats in the WHL. Let's hear it.
So he's a guy, and the reason I really wanted to talk about him was because, I mean, he put up, 85 points in the WHL this season, playing on Regina with Connor Bedard. And now Bedard obviously is not going to be there next year. So it's a case where you could see his stock continue to rise if he continues to do what he did. Because I will emphasize, Regina, especially now that Bedard's going to be gone, that is not going to be a very good team. But the thing with Tanner Howe is he was most often playing as a number 2 center. So he really wasn't playing with Bedard. And he still did what he did, which is wildly impressive as a draft -1 in the WHL in a year where the WHL was insane. So that's why he's kind of found himself pretty high up in a whole lot of rankings. So it's going to be really interesting to see what this coming season has for him or what he's able to produce. Just because, again, like what happens with Bedard gone, like for the entire team. But he's going to be a real interesting. He's an older player in this draft. So he's got that going for him where like he is pretty physically developed, even though he's not the biggest kid in the world. He is a mean bastard. And he's also got high-end skill. He's got a real good shot. He is a weapon in the offensive zone. And he's got the added, like, he wants to play mean every time he touches the ice. So he's a really fun player to watch because he's going to do something noticeable every time he's out there. But again, I think I really want to touch on him because like you could see a situation this year where like, hey, like Bedard's gone and he's still even better than he was last year on a not so good Regina team. Or, you know, if does it have like the inverse effect where he's, you know, the point production takes a big hit. He's not that noticeable. So he's going to be a really interesting one to watch this year. But I'm betting on him continuing to do what he did. Because again, a lot of times he wasn't playing with Bedard because he was playing in that number 2 center role. So definitely gonna be a real interesting one to track as the season goes here.
Love it. Number 15, we have an interesting one here. Technically, off Russo logic, this is the son of one of your former draft children. So this is actually your draft grandson.
Yep.
Adam Juracek out of Czechia.
And what do you know? He's a right shot defenseman. You know what? With him, he especially in the junior ranks, like he was making like a lot more high-end offensive plays. Maybe not a whole lot more, but he also plays like his brother. I think he's got more offensive upside, but at the same time, he's like the clone defensively, where he's a big boy that plays physical. He's mean, defends well, but he's got the two-way game. So it's like it's very similar like player, but like I think he does flash more offensive upside at times. And I mean, he eats minutes. Like he's another guy just like his brother, where he's on the ice. It feels like half of the game. Played in the Czech first division for like 12 games this year, which is obviously wildly impressive because that, especially for like a defenseman, that's a tough league to play in. Because I mean, some of these hits on these poor bastards retrieving pucks, like I mean, menacing. The fact that is he was able to play 12 games, you know, in the pro league as a draft -1, because that's not an easy league to play in for a young player. You know, wildly impressive there. Not like, I don't even know how to say his team's name. It's PLZEN. I think it's, I don't know. I don't even know. Pulzen, whatever. But he fit in like and played more than capable. You know, I think he ended up featuring in Czech pro playoff games, but like he didn't actually touch. They just had them on the bench. just a vibe guy. That's what it says to me. So automatically he's going to be one of my sons. But just like his brother, he's big, physical, legit offensive upside, mean bastard in his own zone. But he's got a fucking howitzer of a shot too. He's a real fun player to watch. So again, I love that we got Adam Yurchek, we got Cole Hudson in this class.
That is fun. So PLZEN. Like, I'm just going to go from the hip and say that it's some weird European shit where it's like turns into an F. It's Fen.
I feel like the Z's got to be like a ch. You know what I mean?
With a P and an L?
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's why it really tripped me up.
It's Fen. I'm going with it.
We love that.
F-E-N is how it's pronounced.
Rick Dvorsky.
Dude. I'm still so sad that Rick went to the fucking Blues.
Ricky.
Get old Rick. We haven't come across anyone that needs to be Rick yet, just because everyone's name.
Oh, we'll find.
I mean, Levshinov, I'm not even 100% sure how to pronounce his first name. Artym. Artyom or
Artyom? There's another real good one. Brother got drafted a couple years ago. Brother is and you'll know him out there. Shai Buim. Was it Buyum? I don't know. His brother's in this class. He'll go first round. His name is Zeev. Zeev. And he's legit, dude. He's fucking good.
What a name.
Yeah. Zeev Buyum.
That's pretty cool. That almost rivals this next name here that I think early on has to be leading the all-name team charts. At 16, out of is that Norway or Denmark?
He is
not great on my flags.
He's a Norwegian.
Norway. We have another three-namer, Michael Brandseg Nygaard. What a fucking name. I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, and he's playing in Sweden, so you're going to be all over him this year. Well,
which is why I said that we had to mention this guy, because he's probably the one Swede that's firmly in the first round. He's legit. Big right winger, good shot, real good playmaker. And I think the upside's super high with a guy like him. But like the big thing that stuck out for me this year is how aggressive he was. But even then, he went, and again, he's playing a lot of games in the Allsvenskan, so the same league that Dvorsky is playing in, and he ended up playing in some playoff games and fitting in more than adequately. So he's already playing a pretty advanced game just in terms of like being able to like play in hard situations where it's not just he's out there to play junior hockey in Sweden and like put up 1 million points. And again, like I talked about this with our other triple name guy, Oscar Fisker Molgaard, not out of Norway. He was out of Denmark that went to Sweden. But this was Brandseg Nygaard's first year in Sweden. Before that, he's playing in Norway, his junior hockey. And he comes over this year to Sweden, over a point per game in the J20 on a non-playoff team. Again, goes and features in Allsvenskan games, puts up a couple points there, plays in playoffs, like fits right in and has kind of just like an overall like approach to the game that I think ultimately translates really well to the North American style too. Part of that's just the aggression, and just like the plays that he makes are high end, but like the kind that you see in the NHL where I'm not. And again, the dual shot that helps too, but I just think he's going to ultimately translate really well. Just his approach to the game. I think he has the advanced kind of like two-way game too. But another guy I'm a big fan of, but the big reason I wanted to mention was just the fact that he's like the one Swede for the first time ever that's like firmly in this first round. And I say Swede as in based out of Sweden. So that's one of the guys that I scout. Yeah. One of the guys that I scout. So there you go. There's not a whole lot of guys at the moment, even though there's one other guy, great name too, that I think is firmly a first round talent for me.
Well, then let's hear it.
Big center, Simon Zether with a Z. Beauty. Playing for Rogla, beast. Unbelievable playmaker, great shot, plays a two-way game, physical, mean, love him. one of my favorites out of Sweden. I think a guy that should go first overall. It helps that he's a big right shot center.
I was just gonna ask, is he a midget or is he 7 feet?
No, he's 6'3".
So 7
big
feet
boy.
tall.
Yeah, so he's
him.
a giant. Andre the Giant, same thing.
Simone the Zether.
40 beers on a plane. Probably.
Legend. I think that's it. I think we did it.
That rounded out.
We did the thing.